Welcome to episode number 302 of Category 5 Technology TV. I'm your host, Robbie Ferguson.
And I am your co-host, The Gang. Oh, I'm Eric Kidd.
Eric!
How are you, Robbie?
Doing good, man. You?
I am well.
I'm looking forward to a fun show tonight.
I'm happy to be here, and I am just glad to be alive. Why don't I tell you what's coming up in news? What do you think? Good idea?
Do it.
We can do that?
Excellent.
Okay, coming up in the newsroom. Twisted light can transmit data at 1.6 terabits per second through fiber optic cable. Facebook gave a researcher $20,000 for discovering a bug and reporting it back to them. A pair of Windows viruses, or viri, are helping each other survive. Voyager 1 may soon leave our solar system and enter interstellar space.
Wow.
Researchers have found a way to cram 1,000 terabytes onto a single DVD. And Half-Life 2 is now stable on Linux. Stick around. Woo-hoo. These stories are coming up later in the show.
Awesome. Eric, do you remember when we reviewed the world's smallest computer?
I remember that.
The company Rikomagic that manufactures those. That was episode number 283. Go check it out if you haven't seen it yet. The world's smallest computer. Rikomagic has continued to develop their products, and tonight we're going to be showing you some of the latest and greatest from them. Also, we've got a ton of viewer questions tonight, so we're going to crack into the mailbag, and we're going to have another viewer question extravaganza. This time we're opening up the phone lines, so feel free to pick up the phone. Give us a call, 2545-CAT5TV to get your question in.
Or 254-522-8588.
That's true.
That's what he said.
That's what it is.
In code.
In code. You can also get us in the chat room at Category 5 on Freenode, and of course through our website, Category5.TV. So stick around. We'll be right back with all these exciting things coming up and your viewer questions. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
This is Category 5 Technology TV.
At Eco Alkalines, we believe you should be able to trust your batteries not just here, but here, here, and here. But with one exception, you should also be able to trust your batteries here. Eco Alkalines are the world's first and only certified carbon-neutral battery manufactured to the highest standards of recycling and quality, without any trace amounts of harmful chemicals like mercury, lead, or cadmium. Eco Alkalines provide performance that rivals leading national alkaline battery brands at a comparable price. Find out more about the Eco Alkalines difference. EcoAlkalines.com.
This is Category 5 Technology TV. I'm your host, Robbie Ferguson.
And I'm Eric Kidd. I'm the co-host.
By definition.
And how about a big shout out to some of our new registered viewers?
Yeah.
We've got J Blake 58. Hey.
Hey.
And Sifo. And Bill 777.
Sifo, Bill 777. Nice to have you here.
No, that's Sifo.
Sifo.
That's one person.
Oh, I know.
Bill, okay.
Saying hi to both of you at the same time.
Okay.
It's this new thing, the multitasking.
And we have Jay Bolted.
Speak to two people.
Jay Bolted.
Jay.
And Mandebian, or Mandebian, I bet is probably.
You know. Mandebian.
But, you know, yeah, we'll leave
like what you say,
we'll leave
like
the
if it's not
syllabic
working.
stress being on the third last syllable.
It could be
It should be on Debian.
I'm thinking it's probably like, man, Debian. Like a realization.
Welcome, nerdlings. Oh, and Taco Wan.
Hey, Taco Wan.
Taco Wan?
I'll say Wan, you say Wan. And one of us will be right, and they'll smile. It's all good.
And be...
You struggling with this one?
Empt. Be duck empt. Be duck empt.
I'm going to let him have that one. So hopefully he's close.
And K12DOB. And Memito64. And Masterminds.
Nice to have you all here joining us as new registered viewers on our website, www.category5.tv. Of course, if you register, you get access to some really cool bonus features on our website. As well, you'll be able to participate in prize draws and things that non-registered viewers are not able to participate in.
Wish they could participate.
Be like, oh, if only I could participate in this. Well, now's your chance to go and register on our website, Category5TV. But Eric, how much does that cost?
It's pretty pricey. It's going to take you probably 20 seconds, 30 seconds
That's all it
of
costs.
your precious time.
Time is money, Eric.
It is. Hey, I'm donating an hour or so here tonight. What? I want a raise.
I take it
really
back.
do want a raise.
I do have a gift for you tonight, though, and we'll talk about that
All
a little bit
right.
later. All right.
All right.
You had a birthday recently, didn't you?
I did. I am
Good
now
answer.
35.
Good answer.
And dyslexic.
Don't forget to go to our mobile website. If you've got a mobile device, scan that code m.cat5.tv. We've got live streaming there, both audio and video at the same time, but also, I mean, like separate. You can just listen to the show if you want with Category 5 Radio, which is kind of cool.
Quite frankly, neither one of us is that good looking.
We have really good faces for radio, as they say.
I'm going to leave that alone for now. Category5.tv is a member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. And the International Association of Internet Broadcasters.
Thanks, Eric. Okay. I mentioned a little bit about we're going to be looking at some gadgets from Rikomagic.
You
remember?
mentioned Rikomagic, and you mentioned episode 283.
Yeah. Well, remember back on episode 283, we actually looked at
I have
the
trouble
Rikomagic
remembering
MiniPC.
yesterday. Sorry.
Yeah, but yesterday was Canada Day, so
I was
that's
on
acceptable.
a gig. I was on a gig.
Happy Canada Day,
Happy
belated,
Ca-
by the
yes.
way. It just fell in such a way that here we are wishing you a belated Canada Day. But for those of you in America, we can be proactive and say Happy 4th of July to you. We're a little early.
Well, we're a little, yes. That's Independence Day, is it not?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Very good.
Yes.
Your history is
There you go.
really impressive, Eric.
Apparently they're coming out with a sequel to that movie, too.
Oh, dear. That's what it was. Sure.
Okay.
Okay, no, we looked at this device. Okay, let's get on track here just for a moment. Okay. Rikomagic. This is the MiniPC, right? So we looked at this bad boy. Awesome stuff. This one's still in the wrapper. This one's brand new. So this is the Bluetooth. You know, it's actually a full computer, and that's what we looked at on episode number 283. So go check that out. When we looked at this device, the reason that I pulled that out is just so that you can remember what we were looking at that night. So that is the MiniPC, but we needed a particular type of USB hub to run that thing.
That's correct.
Do you remember this thing? This is the newer technology 7-port USB hub. It's a powered USB hub with its own power supply and everything. I wonder how I could best show it to you. Maybe if Heather, are you able to actually see? If I hold that up, you can see that what's really interesting about this device, not only is it it's a full hub, but it also has a 2.1 amp dedicated power port. That's what was really good for us when we're using our Rikomagic device, because it gives dedicated power with no data connection to a computer or anything. It's just straight power being generated by the newer technology powered hub.
Ah.
So this is not just great for that. I mean, we found the perfect use for this device. But it is a 7-port powered hub, USB 2.0. It's a fantastic device, and it is high-powered. Like, this is 4 amps. So you can charge your iPad off of this thing, the reason I use iPad
Or
as an
your
example-
BlackBerry.
Well, but that doesn't... The iPad draws a lot more current. Like, if you plug an iPad into a computer, there's not enough current in the computer to charge it, right? So you plug it into this, and it's all of a sudden you've got 2.1 amp dedicated. So this has got a lot of power behind it. Reason I wanted to bring this back up tonight is because we've got one to give away.
Ah.
So I want to actually send you one. So pop me an email live at category5.tv if you're watching this, on demand. If you're not able to watch the live show, send me an email live at category5.tv. Tell me where you're from, what your registered viewer name is, because you've got to be registered on our site, which is free, as we mentioned. And then we'll enter you into the draw. If you are going to be watching the show live next week, don't worry. We're going to have Drawbot joining us in the chat room, and he's going to go in, grab all your names, and
Drawbot.
put you into the draw. So, okay, so that is, we're going to send that anywhere in the world. Very excited about that because it is an excellent device. Okay. I mentioned Rikomagic is
You did?
bringing out some really cool
Yes.
new versions, new upgrades. We looked at, this bad boy is amazing. We looked at this one a little while ago,
Yeah.
right? they sent me another box and said, okay, this one...
Does this mean you're not hooking it up tonight?
I'm not hooking it up tonight.
Okay.
No, this is a precursor to the hookup episode where we're actually going to set this up and we're going to configure it and everything. But okay, so first of all, immediately you notice that the box is about twice as big, so you figure the thing's going to be twice as big.
You'd think that.
You'd think so.
Apparently, I'm betting you'd be wrong.
I'm betting so. Here we go. Okay.
Looks the same size to me.
It's about exactly the same. This is the 8024. 8024. But the 4 is in Roman numerals, so this is the 802 IV, if you would say so. Yeah, it's like an intravenous version. Yeah. So this really plugs you in with all the awesomeness.
There must be more goodies in the box. I bet you.
I wonder
we should
if
have some unboxing music.
All right, here it goes. Just like that.
Should I get Heather, could you grab the guitar for me?
No, there's... look at what they've thrown in for you. Okay, we've got our HDMI little extender.
HDMI.
Well, because here, if you haven't seen the feature, here's what's cool about these. It looks like a USB.
Oh, not only the unboxing, the uncellophaning.
Can I take off the cellophane?
I think you can.
Okay.
Were you asking permission or ability, sir?
May I?
Yes, you may.
Thank you, grammar police. Okay, so it looks like a USB flash drive, right? But I take this off, and what is that? But HDMI, full-sized HDMI, so you can connect this directly into your HDTV. All right.
So we've got the USB hub.
Well, that can power the older gen. Yeah. Okay. So let's open this up.
He's sensitive, eh?
I'm very sensitive. Oh, this is beautiful. Okay. So the extender, what this does, okay, is it takes that HDMI and it makes it longer, so that if your TV for some reason is set up in such a way that you can't plug that directly into the back because maybe the etching is
probably
yeah. So this allows you to, in that case. Boom, it still works on your TV and it just hangs off the back. It's a full computer. I'm going to tell you the specs in a minute. This is going to blow your mind. But look at what I see in the box. I'll show you.
Whoa!
It came with an AC adapter. They're thinking, and this could be after our last review. We said, look, we need to have a third-party adapter here because a computer cannot power this.
You're feeling partly responsible for this innovation.
I am. Well, because a computer can't power the Rikomagic device because there's, just like the iPad, there's not enough ampage there.
Right.
Coming out of the computer. So they're actually including a device here that is going to plug it in. So there you go. And now you can plug it into the wall. You're good to go. And there's also, for those of you who want it, there's a... Oh, look. It's actually, they've included a USB mini.
Yeah.
A USB mini to USB-A adapter. I think that's A, right? That's cool. That could actually be really, really handy for a lot of things.
The thing I've never understood about USB being universal.
Yeah. Why are
how
there
come
so
there's
many adapters?
more than 3 different
That's going to come in handy, though, because how many times do you need to charge your phone and you don't have a USB mini?
Totally.
Now I've...
So that'll...
Okay.
That's... I just want to make sure that's...
You think that'll fit your BlackBerry?
I think it might.
Look at
if
this.
I put it in, perfect.
Yeah.
Check that out.
Look at that. It will charge your BlackBerry, too. So there you go. There's a charger for your BlackBerry.
All right.
Right in the box. Okay.
Sweet deal.
For those of you who use BlackBerries.
Oh, those poor kids took another hit on Wall Street
I know.
today.
Did they ever? That's why I joke. Okay. Here it is. This is the new model. I told you that they've been upgrading and improving. So what do we got? Okay, first of all, it's Android Jelly Bean 4.2. Okay. It's an RK3188 quad-core processor. This has a quad-core CPU, GPU built in. It's got 2D, 3D acceleration. It's got 8 gigabytes RAM, up to 16 gigabytes RAM built in. I guess it's NAND memory, like not RAM, I should say. It's the like the actual storage,
like storage
space.
Right.
Okay, 2 gigabytes of RAM. Pardon me, DDR3, and it's got it actually has a micro SD port on the back here, and with that micro SD you can put in up to 32 gigabytes of storage. So if you want to add extra storage space to it, you got plenty of room for it. It has built-in wireless 802.11bgn, and there you go. So they've basically taken it and it's quad core.
Wow.
Screaming fast, and because this is a standard ARM processor, guess what? We could put Linux on this. Huh? So that's one of the experiments that we're going to be doing out of the box, like I say, it comes with Android 4.2. And now 4.2 is also available for the original Rikomagic MiniPC. So if you bought this after seeing the review, we'll actually be showing you in an upcoming episode how to upgrade to version 4.2 of Android OS. So that's going to be cool too. Okay, you ready for more?
There's more? Come on.
Are you following me, cameraman?
Be still my beating heart.
Do I sound like a absolute nerd, like
That didn't start
guy?
Tonight, Robbie.
No? Okay.
Sorry. Hey.
I've got to show you this.
You know, the bald nerd moniker?
I know, it's
Getting
been
a lot of hair on the side there.
It's been cool this week. What can I say?
Okay.
When you're working with your MiniPC or any of these kinds of devices, what's the thing? You're okay, well, how do I want to control it? And I have, I've got the controller, the Air Mouse from my Xios. Okay, so that works really, really well, and I use that. I've also got an Air Mouse that Rikomagic. This is their early model Air Mouse, which we had previously used with the Rikomagic MiniPC. Okay, but
right.
Watch what they're doing now. Oh, okay. Air Mouse meets television remote control.
Are we a universal? No.
Universal remote.
Holy smokes!
Dun, dun, dun. Right. It's got everything on there that you'd ever want: TV, VCR,
I thought
DVD,
my
cable,
parents had
satellite.
trouble with the TV and DVD player.
This works, right? Okay, so it's just a universal remote. Big whoop. It has a USB input. Can you see that? That USB input charges...
I see more.
He sees more. The USB input charges the built-in battery, so you never have to change a remote battery again. Now, are you ready? Let's turn this thing around. A full QWERTY keyboard with directional arrows on the back of your multifunction remote. This keyboard is, in fact, Bluetooth.
Whoa.
You can use this with anything that supports Bluetooth. So we finally have a remote control that makes sense for our home theater PC. Regardless of whether you're going with a Rikomagic for your home theater PC, whatever you have, if it's got Bluetooth, this is it.
So this is our mouse and our keyboard and our...
Everything. It's all there. And yes, it has an Air Mouse built in.
That is
so you can actually move around like this.
You know, when I first started working at the TV station, they had these Unix terminals and I set them up with Windows 95. It was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And with mice, and honest to goodness, I'm not exaggerating. This one poor person was there pointing this
holding the mouse up in the air, trying to make it, especially
great.
The cordless. They were something else.
No, we didn't have cordless yet. Come on.
Okay. Oh, yes. Okay, well, that's right. Yeah,
it was 1995, I think.
Okay, What do we got here? I want to show you. Okay, we've got a charger cable. Okay. And also this is just the adapter.
Little adapter.
Your computer now receives the Bluetooth signal.
Wow.
And is able to support this remote. A little instruction manual, and there you have it. I think that's the perfect HTPC remote. What do you folks think in the chat room?
So, I'm thinking this is looking amazing. So our whole setup here.
Yeah. When are you on next?
Well, yeah.
Because we want to actually hook this stuff up.
No, but I'm thinking this is probably not only is it a fabulous idea, but I mean it's not particularly expensive.
No, it's very cheap.
No, yeah.
It's amazingly cheap, this stuff. Rikomagic.com. I'm going to actually bring up their website real quick, but I'm going to post links in the show notes for episode number 302 as well, okay? So I just want to see if I still have a short link there. Yeah, Rico. It's cat5.tv/MiniPC. And that is actually going to take you to their website. You can see some of the amazing stuff that they're coming up with. Yeah, a webcam with a built-in Rikomagic type device. So you'll find all this stuff there. All of the pricing is available to you, and they're shipping worldwide right now. So that stuff is available to you. cat5.tv/MiniPC. This is the best thing ever. Fantastic.
So, is the remote available? So are these all available separately?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's the remote. This is the MK702 Roman numerals 2. So 702 2.
Are there other models available?
Of the remote? Not this one. This is the remote that you want to get for sure. You'll find it all on Rikomagic. We're not going to get into pricing and stuff, and because all that stuff is being put up on their website. But when you watch the website Category5TV, and we're going to be announcing when we're actually going to be conducting a full review of these products. In which case, at that point, we're going to actually be firing things up. We're going to be running everything, showing you what happens on the screen, just like we did in episode number 283 with the other product. And we're going to show you how everything connects and how to make it work. So, but they are very affordable, as Eric was saying. So check it out. cat5.tv/MiniPC, all one word. This is Category 5 Technology TV. I'm Robbie Ferguson.
And I'm Eric Kidd.
It's a viewer question extravaganza tonight. So
should we get right into it?
I think we should do a couple questions before we jump into the news, and then we'll come back to your questions as well. Don't forget our cat phone, as we call it, the telephone here in the studio, is open to you. If you'd like to give us a call, 2545-228588. That's basically 2545
Cat5TV. So there.
Let's do these questions.
We have a question from Steve.
Hey, Steve.
Steve says, you could show how to hook up a VGA or an HDMI cable from a laptop to TV. I did this with my new $220 LED 32-inch TV, 720p screen, excellent as a monitor, huge and beautiful. The VGA M/M cord cost me only $10 at Micro Center. Old editions of it, Linux, reset resolution to 1360 by 768. New ones set it automatically. Secretly, I think they're overpricing on some cords. Price fixing, perhaps? You could go as large a screen as you want. Great for watching videos and Cat5 TV.
Great idea.
It worked for Steve.
There you go, Steve. Yeah, no, if you can get a cheap cable. Okay, so I'll tell you the difference between... So that's a VGA male-to-male, like just a monitor cable, basically. So an output from a laptop or a desktop computer going out to your your HD TV. The disadvantage to the 9-pin, the blue adapter cable, the VGA cable, as you say, is that it's analog. So you're getting a signal that is... not as good of quality as the HDMI. So if you have the option, output from HDMI, that's the one you want to go with, because then you're going to have true digital HD video. If you're going with D-sub, the 9-pin kind of cable, you're going to lose signal quality, and that could also be why it's detecting the erroneous screen resolution, because you're connecting it to a TV, not to a computer monitor, and so it's not a plug-and-play device necessarily. The computer sees that it's there, but probably can't quite tell what the device is and what its specs are, like a computer monitor, which really feeds back a lot of data through the cable to the computer. So go with HDMI if you can. Are cables price fixed and overpriced? You bet they are. That's seriously. I mean, you walk into a super center. You paid $10 for a VGA cable, and no big deal. But you go in and just price out a 50-foot HDMI cable or a 25-foot HDMI cable, and you'll realize pretty quick. Even better would be think about a Category 5 or a Category 6 networking cable. Just grab a prefab one from a store and you'll realize how overpriced it is, because there's so many middlemen and they're prefabricated. They're the cost of a cable might be $1 or $2 to the people who are selling it. So if they're charging you $40-50 for the cable,
but not everybody has the tools and the
you may not
ability
have
to
the
put
tools
one together.
But if you're looking for cables that can be manufactured on your own, go into like an OEM store that can make cables. Go into an electronics store and say, can you make me a cable? We have spools of Ethernet cable, and we'll cut off a length, and it's what couples.
I found a great little store in south end of Barrie, and we're not doing a commercial spot, but called Sale. Okay, they have all the little connectors and gadgets.
Like that you can, like the old Radio Shack stores.
Yeah, it's nice. But way more than I'm finding it at the source.
No, the source is not what it was when I was a kid.
No,
and I say
Radio Shack definitely did.
Radio Shack, when Radio Shack was Radio Shack back in the 80s, you could go in and it was my dream, because I was building. I was talking to Becca the other night about how I used to, I'd build patch panels, audio patch panels from little parts that I bought for $1 at Radio Shack, and that was so awesome. Yeah. Now,
and the fellow behind the counter was a retired electronics guy, so he was able to say,
his way around.
"Oh yeah, no, what you need to do is it was just a nice little find."
That's cool. We'll have to check that out.
Very pleased.
Nice.
Well, I am
Thanks
not
for the email there. You've got something I got to bring up, do you?
Yeah, you're going to have to bring this up.
All right.
So if you bring that up,
Working on it.
Pyros Rock This World.
Pyrus Rock.
Yes. I just received this. Thought you might add it to your collection.
Excellent. Okay, I'm just going to save this to my desktop here. Pyrus Rock, we like to protect your email address if we can.
Yeah, so.
Oh, nice. So this is an email, I guess, that has come into to Pyrus Rock, our viewer. There we go.
Google 15th Anniversary Award Center.
It's an anniversary award. It's seemingly from Google. Makes it look like it's from Google. You know what's interesting about this, and you may not immediately pick up on the subtleties that these scammers and phishing scams try to use to trick you into thinking that this is legit. The first thing that stands out to me is that it says Google Beta, and it says, what does it say right above that? It says SSL. So you kind of, and it has the little lock, so you kind of in your head think, oh, this is secure. It's email, right? Nothing is secure through email, regardless. But interestingly enough, but isn't that neat that they don't fall for that, folks? There you go. So you won a prize. Congratulations. And it looks pretty official. And an email with a handwritten signature is always official. You can tell. Interesting. Thanks for the email. All that to say, Pyrus Rock This World sent that in. For those viewers who are looking at that wondering, what does it mean? Companies usually won't, they won't solicit you by email like that. But hackers, if you will, and we'll call them hackers just because that's the generic term that's been applied to them, will use company branding from companies that you possibly trust, be it your bank or here Google.
Oh, how often do you get something from a bank and it all looks legit unless you actually run your mouse over top of the email link and you realize it's to xwyqrt.com off somewhere, anything, and it's not really going to RBC or TD or wherever, and they want your information and your your social insurance number, etc.
It always is meant to look really official, right? So you got to be really, really careful of what you reply to in your email and what you click on, what links you go through. In this particular case, it looks like they're not even getting you to really click on links. What they're trying to get you to do is to fill in the blanks. Provide what? Your full name, your country, your contact address, your telephone number, your fax number, your occupation, your sex, and your age. So with that information, I mean, if I had that amount of information about somebody, I'm pretty sure
You'd probably get a passport.
I could become you. Yeah. So this is probably an identity theft attempt. So you want to watch out for that kind of stuff for sure.
All right.
Thanks for sending that in, Mr. Philip Brenson.
And thank you for the email, Susan.
Yes.
Okay, here's a question from Jay Reed.
Hey, Jay.
Is there any easy ways to use encryption on user shares that reside on an Unraid server?
No. Very, very complicated, just like everything that I show you. We want to make it as hard as possible.
I'm detecting a slight hint of sarcasm.
I guess, since you asked so nicely, we'll make
Spock
it easy.
wouldn't go for that.
Can we go for easy encryption? Okay. First of all, Unraid is a server platform for hosting multiple hard drives in a single physical box. So I've got a computer on the network that has 7 or 8 hard drives, so now I have the capacity of basically 6 or 7 hard drives in that with 1 extra hard drive for redundancy. So if one fails, I don't lose my data. Great little server setup. But can you encrypt it? I would want to ask myself before I answer that question, and the answer is yes. Okay, I answered it. Sorry. But the fact is, well, it's an in-house server. So the only person, we've kind of touched on this before, but if you encrypt something that is only accessible to you anyways, then the only person that you are basically encrypting against is yourself. If somebody breaks in,
maybe he doesn't want his wife to see his data.
But she would.
I'm kidding.
Because it's on the server. And so if somebody were to physically come in and steal your server, they would fire it up and they would have an unencrypted because even if it was encrypted, they would have the ability to boot up the whole thing and it would be readable. If I encrypted it, though, then the scenario is if somebody stole a single hard drive from it, that drive would not be readable because it's no longer a part of the array, which also decrypts the data for readability. So who am I protecting it against? The problem is then, okay, so let's say you have a catastrophic failure and 5 of your 7 hard drives fail. So you take those hard drives because you no longer have parity because more than one drive failed. It was a power surge, say. And you take those drives to data recovery and you say, okay, well, here are the 5 drives that have failed and I need to get the data off of them. And they'll say, okay, yeah, we could get the data off, but it's encrypted. So we're not going to be able to read any of that data.
Now what?
Now what? Exactly. So with this encrypted array now, we've basically caused a really risky scenario. So I'm just trying to think of a scenario where it would be necessary to encrypt an Unraid array. Because it's an in-house server. It is not world accessible. It's not accessible by anyone except those who are in my network, connected to my network.
It's kind of like, I've got, a $3,500 Martin guitar.
Mm-hmm.
It has a little lock for it.
Yeah. On the case?
Yeah.
But I'm going to take the case.
But anybody's going to
What's
steal
the
the
point?
guitar is going to, you're not going to open the case and take the guitar.
Exactly.
Basically all that's for is keeping your kids out of the case, maybe. It's not really going to protect the guitar from anything.
Accidentally
theft.
opening.
Yeah.
That's about it. Okay, so all that said, I wouldn't mind hearing from you what your reasoning and thought process is behind wanting to encrypt.
Why do you want to do this?
Why do you want to encrypt an Unraid array?
Why you got to be like that?
Why you got to do this, man? Why you got to do this?
Right.
Okay, I'm going to touch on the question. Like that's
you
my
are still gonna
my
answer it.
response, but I'll
That
still
was a
answer.
pretty
you.
long preamble to
I'm sorry.
going in. Okay, sorry. Over to
Sorry
you,
for
Robert.
trying to be helpful.
You sound a little negative, I thought.
Well, I want you to know the risks. If I'm going to do something that could risk the integrity of my data in an event of a catastrophic failure without any positive benefits, then I want you to know that.
Did
Who
somebody
left their
forget?
phone on?
I hate when that happens.
It's because you plugged in
Should
a
I answer
charger.
it
And
and see it?
Let's
No,
take the call.
I think
Let's say hi.
We could actually say. I think it's somebody from the studio. I'm going to turn my phone off.
There's an idea. He's new here. Oh, wait a minute. No, he's not. Okay, so of course, to encrypt, you probably use ENCFS, like encrypt the file system, which is coming available with Unraid version 5, which I understand is in beta, and I'm really, I like to use the stable version, so I'm on 4.7. Version 5, though, is coming along quite nicely, and I'll give you the link to this, episode number 302. It'll be in the show notes. Quick link for you is cat5.tv/ENC. And you see that that'll just take you right to the encryption section here. And you see Unraid 5 has the encfs plugin, and that basically will provide what you're looking for, encryption on your Unraid device. There's also there's a neat way to do it is to actually install something on your SATA bus, which would allow you to use an actual key lock, which would have an encrypted and decryption kind of thing going on. So,
But still, if you end up with your scenario of 5 or 6 drives down,
then
the data lab,
encryption can cause you a lot of trouble that way. So, yeah, it's a hard call. But just send me a follow-up email and let me know why you hope to do that, and go from there. Hope that at least gives you some information. But cat5.tv/ENC, and that will take you to a forum thread that gives you a whole bunch of information about how to encrypt, I should say, on Unraid.
All right.
Go.
Well, why don't we do the news, folks?
Okay.
Or do you want to do more questions?
Let's do news and then questions.
All right, let's do it. Here are the top stories from the Category5.TV newsroom. A novel way of boosting data rates in optical communication using twisted light has been shown to work in optical fibers. The light is effectively corkscrew-shaped and more data can be encoded in differently twisted beams. The concept had previously been shown off over free space, but it remained unclear if it would work in fibers. But now, a team reporting in Science has demonstrated data rates of 1.6 terabytes per second over 1 kilometer of optical fiber. This is still short of the over-the-air rate of 2.5 terabytes per second demonstrated by members of the same team in 2012.
Terabits.
Terabits.
I had to correct
Sorry, that is a small B there.
I did not correct kilometer, but I have to. The geek in me has to correct that it is terabits. 2.5 terabits a second.
How would you correct kilometer?
Kilometer.
That's incorrect. Kilo equals syllabic stress. We've lost.
I didn't.
We've lost
I said
this fight
I didn't correct.
We've
that.
lost this fight in the media. However,
Terabyte.
Kilometer.
Terabit.
Thermometer. That should be a gauge for measuring something. Kilogram. Kilo. Yeah. Okay. You wouldn't say a
kilometer, as
you
you
say.
say
A kiloliter? Yes. You wouldn't say kiloliter.
Maybe I would if I had had a couple of them.
Oh, it's just you ended up with
a terabyte.
I think it was the Americans got a hold of it.
A terabyte and a terabit is a completely different thing.
That was absolutely a different animal. A bit and a byte. Totally different.
Totally different thing.
Totally different thing. I will give you that.
But either way, that's.
But I did not correct you when you said who instead of whom earlier. So, okay. Can we get back to the news?
Let's do it.
So let's see. This is still short of the over-the-air rate of 2.5 terabits per second demonstrated by members of the same team in 2012. But it is a powerful proof of principle for adapting the technique to use with fiber in data centers.
I think all in all, it's fast.
Are we having fun yet?
Yeah.
Facebook.
Oh, not again.
Yes, Facebook has rewarded a British man with $20,000, that's about £13,000, after he found a bug which could have been exploited to hack into users' accounts. Jack Whitten, a security researcher, discovered the flaw in the social network's text messaging system. Facebook thanked Mr. Whitten with 22, who is part of the site's Responsible Disclosure Hall of Fame. The company, like many on the web, encourages experts to report bugs to them rather than cyber criminals.
I wonder, if I were to report, the bugs that I encounter day to day, if I could get, a portion of that.
I don't know.
Or do they specifically have to do with
I hate to even go there with this, but, are the cyber criminals going to say, yeah, they gave him 20,000. What if we offer him 25?
What if we offer? Oh yeah, imagine what you could do with all that.
Yeah.
Data.
Okay, come on, keep it honest,
Not
kids.
that Facebook is ever compromised.
Microsoft research has suggested that they are monitoring 2 computer viruses which collaborate together to spread each other through networks and are proving hard to clean from infected PCs. The pair of viruses foil removal by regularly downloading updated versions of their malware partner. They are usually unknown to antivirus programs, which let the malicious programs persist. Once present on a PC, the viruses let thieves take over a machine so it can be mined for saleable data or used to send spam or to attack other machines. The close relationship between the 2 viruses was revealed in a blog spot by Hyun Choi from Microsoft Malware Research. That is something. So
they're getting smart, aren't they?
Okay, so they're saying this is hard to detect, etc., etc., etc. So what about the folks from, say, ESET or...
Well, who knows, right? I'm not familiar with the particular virus, but I think the idea is that here's a virus or a piece of malware that gets into the system, and if you
and it
become
doesn't look
infected,
like malware until it partners up and downloads its other...
No, I think it sounds to me as though it actually goes out and gets its partner, and they both wreak havoc. So then if your virus scanner happens to get rid of the one, the other one goes and gets and reinfects.
Right, and it's probably one of those things that morphs and changes and everything.
Well,
so
it sounds kind of that way. And this being from Microsoft too, I mean, they're probably testing with Security Essentials, not with ESET. So yeah, I mean, it's really tough to get it out. So we're using our own product.
Voyager 1 may soon be the first man-made object to enter interstellar. May I try interstellar again?
Give it a go.
May be the first man-made object to enter interstellar space.
Brilliant.
It could be any day, but it could also be several more years. That's a quote from Dr. Ed Stone, who has worked on the Voyager project from the very beginning. He can't say when the Voyager 1 spacecraft will leave the solar system, but he believes the moment is close. Wow. The latest data from this extraordinary probe reported in this week's Science Journal suggests it is surfing right on the very edge of our sun's domain. The particles streaming away from our star have been reduced to a trickle at its present location, 18.5 billion kilometers from Earth. Particles flying towards it from interstellar space, by contrast, have jumped markedly in the past year.
So there's other matter out there. That's what it's telling us.
It all points to an imminent departure, which would make Voyager the first man-made object to cross into the space between stars.
Wow.
Launched way back in 1977, the probe has now traveled so far from home that its constant chatter of data takes 17 hours to arrive at the U.S. Space Agency's receiving network.
Wow. See, that's surprising to me. I would have expected it to be much higher. 17 hours.
I can't
Same
believe that it's still communicating that far away.
Plutonium is a pretty viable battery source.
Yes, but even just the fact that the signal is making it this far.
In only 17 hours. What's that?
It'll be doing that until 2020.
2020. Yeah, like what is interstellar space?
Yeah.
We don't really know. Is it because of the convergence of all this matter and energy, is it going to just destroy the thing? Who knows? Or could it keep going and keep broadcasting? Because if it only takes 17 hours to get the data to us.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Wow.
It could be like a horizon. Like, what's beyond the horizon? It looks like it's infinite, right? And then you get there, and it's like, wow. Yeah, it's the Truman Show, folks.
And then what's on the other side of the brick wall, Heather?
It's just going to collide into the wall.
Okay, a trio of Chinese scientists have discovered a breakthrough process that could, at least in theory, allow a DVD to store a whopping 1,000 terabytes, or a full petabyte.
Oh, now we get to learn the true meaning
data.
of terabyte. 1,000 terabytes on an optical disc?
Wow. That's but I'm never going to say, we never need to store that much data, because I remember when I had my, 20 meg hard drive, and I got my 360 meg hard drive.
Yeah.
My friends say, you'll never fill that up.
True.
You'll never in a million years fill that up.
And yet, here you are.
That was megabytes, not gigabytes.
But with 1,000 terabytes on a single disc, even with spirally light optical cables, that's going to take a long time.
I'm allowed 60 gig with my current internet provider, and I quite often go over
Pirate Bay has just been completely demolished because the new Blu-ray discs are one petabyte.
Wow.
When you rip it, you're going to have to find a new encoding MPEG-4.
The storage capacity of a DVD is limited by the size of the laser beam burning the small pits that represent the streams of data. Mm-hmm. Blu-ray increased its capacity by switching to even smaller blue lasers, but the storage capacity of that technology maxed out as well. In 1873, a German physicist named Ernst Abbe found that a beam of light focused through a lens could not be any smaller than half of the light's wavelength. And for visible light, which is used to burn digital media discs, that's around 500 nanometers. So, instead of breaking that law, the researchers found a way to work around it by using two beams of light that cancel each other out. And by ensuring the beams don't completely overlap, a much smaller beam can be created to burn even smaller pits on a disk, massively increasing its capacity. Since writing 1,000 terabytes of data would take forever, developing faster ways to burn disks will be necessary before consumers are ready to adopt the new technology. But the prospects of DVDs and Blu-rays taking a quantum leap in storage capacity is still incredibly exciting.
I'll say.
I'm just wondering about the integrity of the material in which they're making the pits.
That'd be
because if it's porous at all, down to whatever number of nanometers the pit's going to be.
Nanometers? Well, you think about if there was like the most minute.
That would be exactly if you were to pronounce
we
nanometer
don't actually need
the
to
way you
discuss
pronounce kilometer, it would be nanometer. And it sounds like something for measuring nanometers.
How big is physically, how big is a DVD? Like 4.5 inches across or so? Somewhere around there?
Around there.
And you think about like the most minute scratch. So if in that amount of space there is a petabyte of data, and you get even the slightest little fingerprint
probably
or just a
losing
little
gigabytes
tick,
worth of
gigs upon gigs of data from this little pin
You're going to have to deal with these in the clean room.
You won't be able to,
No, it'll have to be an enclosed vacuum
Could we
sealed.
go back to the carts where the disk is actually protected inside of a cart like a floppy disk?
I think so. I don't know. I'm guessing. But
How would you do it? Do you have more?
There's more.
Oh,
Last
yeah.
week we mentioned the availability
yes.
of the popular game Portal on Linux, and now Half-Life 2, the first-person shooter game also made by Valve, has migrated from beta to stable release on Steam for Linux, showing even further that Valve is serious about expanding its Steam gaming platform for Linux users. Half-Life 2 Episodes 1 and 2, as well as the spin-off mini-game Half-Life 2 Lost Coast, see their beta tags shaken off and are now available in Steam for $10. $10.
Nice. It's getting serious, folks. Linux is a gaming platform. Just saying.
Get the full stories at category5.tv/newsroom. The Category5.tv newsroom is researched by Roy W. Nash and Stephen Dulaney, with contributions by our community of viewers. If you have a news story you think is worthy of on-air mention, email newsroom@category5.tv. For the Category5.tv newsroom, I'm Eric Kidd.
Thanks, Eric. Check out adzerk.com for the fastest asynchronous JavaScript ad serving code. adzerk.com.
My mom, my 83-year-old mom, said, "What's Adzerk?" when I wear the shirt. Last time I was here, I think I was wearing it, and I went over for a visit.
Oh, okay, like after the show. I was like, Mom was watching?
No,
that's so sweet.
no. And then, no, she hasn't figured out the computer yet. But,
all right.
But she must have asked me about 5 times, and I explained it, and again. So what's Adzerk?
It's asynchronous JavaScript serving code, Mom. It's the world's fastest asynchronous JS code.
That's, yes.
I mean, think in terms of the cloud, Mom.
Sorry, I'm leaving that alone.
All right, we got a couple more questions there that we can
sure, why not?
tackle. Thanks for sending in your question, folks. Live at category5.tv. Don't forget, you can give us a call. I know we're not at all used to taking calls in studio, but 2545 Cat5TV if you'd like to give us a call.
Oh, let's do it. Somebody call. I'm going to call. Oh, I turned my phone
your
off.
phone's off. Sorry. Okay, well, we're going to have to stick with email.
From Old Salt.
Hey.
I have an E-machine, ET1331G-03W with 6 gig of RAM.
Oh.
Do you want shall I go through all the specs here? An AMD Athlon 2.
Yeah, okay, it's got a big hard drive. It's got NVIDIA graphics.
Okay.
N4C Ethernet. Yeah,
and he has an HP all-in-one printer.
So it's a basic consumer computer, off-the-shelf E-machine.
He wants to know if we can add Ubuntu as the third OS without any problems.
What OSs are on there right now?
Well, let's see. We'll go back. It's got XP 32-bit and Windows 7 Home Premium 64-bit.
Nice. So, yeah, do it. Here's what I would do. Okay, what do we do, Eric, anytime we're going to be repartitioning our hard drive?
Back it up.
Back it up, back it up, back it up. Okay, so get Clonezilla, clonezilla.org. Run a full backup of your entire hard drive, including the partition systems, because you just don't want to take that risk. If you are reasonably experienced with partitioning, then it's not going to be a problem for you. You're going to be able to create a partition, install to that partition with the installer in Ubuntu, and Ubuntu is going to install a new bootloader, so you're not going to have the Windows bootloader anymore. It's going to be the Grub bootloader. And with Grub, it's going to then present you, when you first boot the computer, with Windows XP, Windows 7, and Ubuntu, as well as a couple other options like recovery mode for Linux and possibly memtest and things like that. But regardless, it's going to create a triple boot environment for you and give you the menu to do it. Reason that we want to use Clonezilla first is just so that you have a fallback plan just in case something goes wrong, or it's pretty unlikely, but I don't like to take those risks, and it's not going to take you much time to run a clone. Clonezilla will create a backup of not just your data, but the whole the whole hard drive, including the partition tables, if you do a device to image style clone. What is neat about that is that when it creates the image, it's not going to store empty sectors. So if you have the 700 gig hard drive and you're only actually using 200 gigs of the drive's capacity, it will only be a 200 gigabyte image. So it works out quite well for you. So give that a try and let us know how it goes. But yes, it will automatically pick up your other operating systems and it'll do it all for you. So just be cautious as you're going through that. And the Ubuntu installer will actually prompt you if you go through with some of the defaults. It will say, do you want to overwrite the operating systems that are on there, or do you want to add to the free space Ubuntu? And it will automatically repartition your hard drive and make a triple boot for you. But again, fall back on that Clonezilla image just in case.
Yeah, exactly. And Old Salt has been into computers since DOS and then went to Windows. And
oh, yeah.
thinks XP is the best version they ever came up with. And so I just thought I'd add that.
I suppose like if it was like a battle of Microsoft products, then XP was kind of the first stable, so to speak, the most stable of the line with full multitasking, right? I think it was revolutionary at the time.
Yeah. So, okay, how about another one?
Love it. Thanks for the question there.
Okay, and here's one from... How do you say that? There aren't that many syllables. I'm just saying.
Oh, that was just,
okay,
feedback.
And tonight
I
I'm
had
Rachel.
The speakers on.
Tonight, hi, Robbie and Rachel.
Oh.
I use KeyPass X on 4 computers, 3 Linux, 1 Mac.
Cool.
And want to keep the database files in sync. They're not on the same LAN, but can connect via the internet using SSH. I plan to have one machine be the master and have cron run rsync in each direction from each machine to the master.
Okay.
I'll have rsync make a copy before overwriting. I think this will work, but it seems a bit kludgy. Is that a technical word?
Kludgy, bludgy.
Do you have a better way to do this? I love the show. It's always a lot of fun and very informative. I really enjoy the back and forth banter. I usually can't watch the whole thing live, but we'll watch it later on. Thanks, Carl.
Well,
and we will pass along.
Let's see what we can do.
Hi to Rachel.
Yes. I think you're really on the right track.
Yeah.
It seems like you understand SSH and the ability to actually connect to a server using an SSH connection, because you're doing that with rsync. What if, though, we were to take a different approach, and instead of using rsync to sync each computer and potentially cause issues, and then you've got actual individual copies of this file scattered on each computer? Well, I guess it depends. Are you always connected? See, I want to imagine that you're always online. If you're always online, I would set up the SSH connection that you already have established, and on that SSH connection would lay the one file that gets backed up. And that one file would be accessible through an FS tab entry, so that each of your other computers would then have the mount point set up in the same way, so that they all share the same file through SSH. And they're all connecting to that server, and they're all able to modify that file and use that file and all that kind of stuff. But if you ever lose your internet connection, then you lose access to that file. So that's where, if you're on Ubuntu, you can use things like Ubuntu One, and you don't have to be on Ubuntu. You can just install Ubuntu One.
Ubuntu One. Do like Ubuntu.
Definitely. But Ubuntu One is like a cloud-based storage place, so it gives you the same thing. But what's advantageous about Ubuntu One is that if you lose your internet connection, your computer will fall back onto a local copy automatically that it has already synced from the cloud. So that might be the route I would take, but SSH would be the first one I would do. We did a feature on the show. If you go to Category5TV, I'll just quickly grab you the episode number. I'm going to do a quick search for CIFS, SMBFS, or I may... SMBFS FS tab. Why don't I do that? I'm going to go with the old SMBFS just because that'll take you right to the original episode. And just be mindful that you'll need to change it to CIFS because SMBFS has been deprecated. On episode number 296, actually, we talked about that very thing. So check that out. And that refers to... So episode number 296 talks about it in viewer questions. And it refers to our lesson that happened on episode 266, about 12 minutes into the show, which shows you how to set that up so that they're all connected all the time to the server, which is really, really cool. I love that. I've got, just to give you an example scenario, I've got, I realized that my wife's documents, like the files on her computer in the documents folder, that her backup hadn't been running because it had gotten too large and it was not working. So I said, well, what am I doing? Why does she have her own independent documents folder? I've got a server here. So what I did is I created a documents share on the server, and I used fstab using this procedure to change her documents into a mount point. I moved all her files down to the server into the share, and then I mounted through fstab documents. So now when she brings up documents, she's none the wiser. She just still sees all her documents, but actually they're on the server. It's still the same place. It's still in her home folder, in a folder called documents, because that's the mount point, and it's all there. So then I back up the server on a nightly basis off-site, and all of her stuff is involved in that backup. So I love that method of doing things. So let us know what you choose. And otherwise, I think you're on a really good track with rsync, but just you need to figure out some kind of a script to make sure that it doesn't overwrite it if they're having, like if the changes were done on my computer, I don't want to get that file overwritten with the changes from another computer, right? It can get a little bit complicated. That's where an already existing cloud infrastructure like Ubuntu One would be advantageous. Mm-hmm.
All right. Do we have time for another question?
I think we'll squeeze it in.
Okay. Here's a quick one from, I guess this is Mikey.
Mikey.
Mighty Scotty Coopy.
Well, all right. Hey.
So I'm going to be playing music in a bustling city park, and I was wondering if I could use 2 DSLRs to do a multicam live stream. Could we do it using a MacBook Pro? I know in your video you have separate PCI cards for each camera.
You know, the DSLR is going to, if you're hoping to do HDMI, HD, it's going to be HDMI output. In which case, your MacBook Pro doesn't have an input for HDMI. It has an output for HDMI, but you can't plug the HDMI cable from your camera into the HDMI output on your laptop. Then you've got 2 powered signals clashing with each other and could cause some damage. So you're going to still need some kind of capture device. If your MacBook is new enough, then you might be able to add like an external Thunderbolt or USB 3 capture device, like a Blackmagic Intensity external unit. That would work. And then you use something like Wirecast from cat5.tv/Wirecast to do the switching. As you saw on the show, the DSLRs are going to probably shut off on you after a little while. So if you're doing like a flash mob or something where it's going to be done in 5 minutes flat, then you do just fine and you get some amazing video. Live though, what I would do if that's the scenario is I would set up my DSLRs and I would use those to shoot the video recorded to its internal storage or to its flash drive or whatever. Shoot it in full HD, and then you're getting that away from the streaming end of it, and then just have a handy cam or some other kind of thing. Like we used just a DV camera with a FireWire output. Your MacBook is going to have a FireWire input, so then it's only SD quality. It's really low quality, but at least you've got 2 HD DSLRs recording full quality, full frame rate, 60 frames a second. It's fantastic video. And then you've got the one that's shooting live, and it's just streaming really crummy quality video, but it's good for streaming. So then you take your high definition camera sources, you take those ones back to the studio, you post-produce them, and you make them into a nice video, and everything looks really, really good when people actually download the thing off of or watch it on YouTube or whatever it is. So that would be the way that I would approach it.
All right. Well,
what's that?
Somebody's saying your mics.
Could you guys hear me through all that?
The mics are loose.
The mics are loose.
Well,
I didn't check your mic.
Invincible Mutant.
Let's see your mic.
My mic.
I didn't check this.
Oh no, it's not loose.
You're good.
All right. You know what?
Did you guys hear what I said? Because I don't mind repeating myself if I need to. Just for that one question? Oh, sorry, folks.
Most of the time you cut out and there's a lot of static. Well, if you can hear me, we should say a hello to our viewers on YouTube, Blip TV, Miro Internet TV, First Run TV, Roku, etc.
Okay, we're going to actually redo the whole show right now.
Wow.
No, Jot, you are so kidding, right? I'm watching the chat room here.
Uh-oh.
Jot's pulling our legs.
Yeah, I don't know. Well,
no.
Eric's mic is fine.
You guys know how to private message, right? No way.
Oh.
Guys, we love you.
Show's over. Get out of here.
Thanks for joining us tonight. Next week is going to be really exciting. Krista Wells is going to be here with me in studio.
And she's way better looking and more charming than I.
That aside, we've got this device to give away. This is the 7-port USB 2.0 hub. Got that to give away, and we're going to be showing you how to convert our photos into video slideshows using free software. So don't miss that next Tuesday night. So have a fantastic week, everybody, and we will see you in a week.
See you then.
Bye-bye.
We hope you enjoyed the show. Category 5 TV broadcasts live from Barrie, Ontario, Canada every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. If you're watching this on demand or through cable TV, check out the local showtimes in your area at Category5.TV and find out when you can watch live and interact in the community chat room. Category 5 is a production of Prodigy Digital Solutions and is licensed under Creative Commons Attribution 2.5 Canada. We'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.